Okay, let's cut another hide up here. Sweep the floor. I have to do this on the floor because I need a large area that I can kneel on. I got my knee pads on, right? I gotta clean all the little fragments up from cutting my last hide up. And I don't want any dirt down there, right? I won't be needing my cutting board, so I'll just throw this right up here on my display case. Right, I won't be needing my cutting board yet. So I need some 8/9 ounce. That is 6/7. That is 6/7. I can just tell by the thickness of the leather. Oh, there we go. So I'll inspect the hide real quick here. Make sure no cuts are in it. Looks good on that side. Look really close at it. Some insect bites right there on the flesh side, but that's fine. A little crease there. Okay. So I gotta have it clean because I don't want to be kneeling on a bunch of dirt or some small bits of pieces because it scratches the leather up really bad. So what I do first is I go like this. So I lay my straight line out first, right? I need to get a straight line right here. And unfortunately, I can't have my camera on my head when I'm doing this. So I'll just go like this. And I'll put you guys right there. Because I have to have my headlamp on my head, right? I can't cut with. Just like that. I'll just set you guys right there. Like that. Okay. You guys gonna stay? I don't think so. There you go, right there. So I'm on my knees because I need a large surface that's flat and hard to be able to lay out and cut on. And I have to be directly over it. I can't use a table, because if I use a table, I'll be having to scribe lines bending over, right? I need to be directly over the leather, so I need to be on top of it, right? And see how this wrinkle, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it, but it's wrinkling right here. You know, it's not a flat piece of material, right? Leather bends, and it's really firm right here on the back section, and it's really firm down here on the neck section of the hide, the shoulder side. This is a shoulder piece, double shoulder. So this is the neck portion and the shoulder portion of the hide. And it's a thick part of the hide, so I want to use this part for utility use, right? So I just need to get this trimmed up here, get a straight edge going along this whole back side so I can just lay these out here. I'll grab my template here. I can use my template for the back side of the sheath, and I'll just lay them out, you know, lay them all out, scribe it with a pen. And this is fairly small hide, so I don't know how many square feet it is. It is 14.2 square feet. All the hides come marked with how many square feet they are. So we'll just mark this straight edge right here. You know, it's hard to get a straight line right there because it's bending. It's really, really thick right there. That's the thick part of the hide right on the edges of the back. And I can get some really crooked lines if I don't really watch what I'm doing. So I have to go kind of slow laying them out. When I'm cutting, it's not so bad. It can go pretty fast. But laying them out, I gotta make sure that this straight edge is completely down there and I get a nice firm fit. And I gotta make sure that there's no blemishes right there. Right there. So I gotta press down on it really hard. All right. So I get a nice edge going. It'd be nice if I had my pen out. So I've been cutting for the last hour and a half. I cut one hide already. So I gotta press down really hard right here. Those lines gotta be perfectly straight, because the reason why I'm doing it this way is so I know if I'm screwing up. If I just lay it all out with the ruler, if I'm just a little bit off on my ruler, all those pieces will be off. So if I just lay my template out, I mean, the sheaths are going to be this size, right? And so that way I won't make any mistakes, because when I punch these holes here, I guide this up next to the edge here, and that's where my holes are going to be at. I don't want to punch my holes too far out on this edge here, because that's going to be my edge, and I don't want those rivets to come out too close to that edge. So I'll just finish this. I'll move you guys over here so you guys can see what I'm doing here, right? I'm just putting a straight edge on there, just to start out with, right? And this one is the most important one of all. This is the most important line that I have in this hide. If I start out crooked right here or screw it up, all my sheaths will be, all my cut pieces will be kind of funky. So I'll just start laying them out here, make sure there's no blemishes on the edge there. So right in the center, the leather wants to bunch up because it's really firm in there, right? It wants to bunch up. So usually in the center, my template wants to kind of go everywhere, and the pieces in the center that I cut usually aren't really square. So I'll just mark a line here, and I gotta make sure I don't screw up my lines here on the end. So I gotta press it firmly on there, right? I'll move you guys over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So when I start out here, I want to make sure that this edge isn't on a blemished piece of leather, right? On the back side or on the front, on the flesh side. So I'll just press nice and firmly right there. I've done a lot of layout in my days, manufacturing, production. I've worked in clean rooms. I was lab test engineer for quite a few years, and a machinist. I've worked in fabrication shops, metal shops, but this isn't metal because this is kind of pliable, right? Metal's easy to cut because you have a flat surface. This wants to ripple on you, and when you cut it, it wants to move, right? It wants to stretch out a little bit when you're cutting it. So it's a lot different than metal or plastic, you know? I wish I had a CNC so I can cut it this on right. Because I ran CNC machines for a long time too. So I'll just mark the end there too. And then I just cut the lines right in the center on all these. Just use my straight edge and cut the lines, and I'll just lay all those out. Lay all these out, and then I'll get my other small template, which is the front plate, and cut it off the same hide there. I have a little bit of drop left over, a little bit of scrap left over, but hopefully I can get 12 out of this one, 12 or 13, maybe 14. Matters how hard it is going to be cut, the shoulder, the neck section. So this line over here, this far edge line, I need to make sure that all these line up right here, right? They got to be perfect. Because if I screw one up, all the rest will be all screwed up, and it'll be really hard to fix it because I already have lines. And if I have to fix a mistake, which I'm pretty experienced in fixing mistakes because you make mistakes, you know, and that's what separates the pros from the novice, right? Being able to fix mistakes fast. You know, anybody can do this layout, but trying to fix mistakes, that's where it's comes in really handy, a lot of experience. Because once I have one line, I need to know which line is the good line and which line is the bad line. Because once I start cutting this, it gets really expensive if I make a mistake, right? These hides are not cheap. At least these ones are a little bit cheaper than the stuff that I'm going to be purchasing on my next order. I just got to make sure all the lines are straight, right? But I will be taking a straight edge to it. So this is where I have some issues right here, right with this portion right here, right in the center, because it wants to bunch up on me. It's hard to cut it, and it's hard to lay it out because it's just not a flat piece of material, right? It's so thick right there. Make sure my template is all the way down. No mistakes on this part, because this is where it's crucial. I'm very, very concentrated, and I'll use my headlamp here. I'll actually turn my headlamp on because it's harder for me to see those lines, right? I'll use my headlamp right there. Beautiful, beautiful. Gotta be just perfect, man. So this spot right here, this is the one that's tough. Tough to get straight. That piece, this piece that runs right along the backside. Because that's right where the backbone is at on this hide, on the steer. And if I don't have my template just right here, I can make some serious mistakes. Because it gets worse as I go, you know, but this way is the best way to do it, you know. If I make a mistake, I can tell where I made my mistake at right off the bat, because I have my template right here. I'm just laying my template out, right? If I try to just measure it out, I will have some really funky pieces of leather here, very odd shapes of leather. Because I know that the piece of leather has to be exactly the size, so I can't go wrong putting my template up here, right? Just through the years of manufacturing and production, I've learned how to do a lot of templates. I worked at Microsoft for a few years, lab test engineering, electromechanical engineering, research and development. That's really what I did, research and development. So my line's not adding up very good here, all right? But I will just go with this one. So I'm going to be using my straight edge, right, to mark the lines in general, right? Because the hide wants to curve right here, right? So when I'm using that long of a straight edge, I'm not getting a very good idea of how the general outlook on the shape of these pieces that I want to do. But it's good if I make them too big, because I can always cut some off. I cannot make a mistake on too small of a piece of leather here, right? But you can't go wrong if I just keep that straight edge going, right? Can't go wrong. Just like so. I might be able to get another one out of there. There we go. Check, make sure there's no blemishes. Yeah, looks good. Because there's blemishes in the leather, right? Sometimes there's small cracks that become very large once you start working the leather. You know, this is pretty tough leather right now, because this has not been conditioned. It's just raw leather. But I wanted to try it. I wanted to try it. A stab at some just raw leather. But I will not be doing this anymore. I will be purchasing leather that's already conditioned and dyed. I'll still happen to condition it after I assemble them and punch the holes and trim them all up. spend a lot of hours trimming leather up, right? And I do it pretty much by hand. So got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow. Okay, I'll just lay some on this edge right here. Take the sticker off. Which is great. Sticker's not going to come off very easy. Yeah, it's not going to come off very easy. But these ones are going to be just stained. I'm going to do 2 hides. I'm going to do 2 more hides just conditioned, just natural colored leather, right? I'm not going to dye them. I might even just dye all the rest of the hides, or just condition all the rest of the hides that I have there. I already have 40 sheaths in that bag right there. And I have another stack up there that I cut just about an hour ago. But I'll take my light off here. I'm still having fun. I'm really liking doing these sheaths. I like it, the end product. The end product, I know it will last a long time. And if I was punching out these really cheap and making them super thin, or making them with just double cap rivets or whatnot, or you know, did some sewing on them, you know, a sewing machine, a stitching machine, you know, I don't think they're going to last as long, to tell you the truth. These rivets will last many, many years. Stitches can come out with a sharp hand digger, right? And stitches can come out, if I'm stitching them with a machine, you're not getting a very great stitch. A saddle stitch is the best way to go, but saddle stitching takes a long time. I mean, it would take me probably an hour to stitch one of these up. And it just, the rivets are so much faster and a lot more durable. But the rivets, you know, are steel rivets. So, you know, if you're not oiling your pouch there, it'll probably fall apart, you know, within 10 years or so. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.